The envelope was already opened when I pulled it from the mailbox. That should have been my first warning. The flap torn carelessly, like someone had grabbed it in a hurry and then thought better of it. Bank logo in the corner. Heavy paper. Official. I stood in the driveway and scanned the first page. My stomach dropped, like I'd missed a step in the dark. It was a statement for an account I'd never seen before. An account in her name, Patricia Caldwell. My husband's mother. Page after page showed monthly transfers. Regular as clockwork. $1,200 every month. From our checking account, the one my paycheck went into, the one we used for groceries and mortgage and car payments. I flipped through the pages, my hands starting to shake. January, February, March, going back and back and back. Years worth of payments I'd never authorized, never knew about. Money leaving our account while I clipped coupons and skipped lunches to save. I reached the last page, my vision blurring at the edges, and there, at the bottom in small print, authorized contact, Marin Caldwell. My name. On an account I'd never opened, for payments I'd never approved. I walked inside and sat at the kitchen table, setting the statement down carefully like it might explode. My hands were flat on the wood surface, forcing myself to breathe slowly, to not panic, to think. My name is Marin Caldwell. I'm 46 years old, responsible, reliable. The woman who tracks budgets for a living. The woman who reconciles accounts and catches discrepancies and builds financial models that help companies make smart decisions. I trusted my husband to handle things at home, split the responsibilities. He managed some bills, I managed others. We were partners. Or I thought we were. I stared at the statement, reading it again, trying to make it say something different, trying to find the explanation that would make this okay. $1,200. Every month. For years. Our vacations that never happened because we couldn't afford it. The roof repair we delayed 3 times. The retirement contributions I cut back on to make ends meet, all while money hemorrhaged out of our account into hers. I heard his truck pull into the driveway. The engine cut off. Door slam. His keys jingling as he walked up the path. My heart was pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. He walked in smiling, already talking about his day. Then he saw the statement on the table, saw my face. The smile died. "What's that?" I asked. My voice was calmer than I felt. He crossed the room fast and reached for the paper. "That's a bank error. They sent it to the wrong address. It has my name on it. They messed up, I'll call them." He tried to take the statement. I held it flat against the table. "What is this account, David?" "It's nothing, just some family stuff. The bank wasn't supposed to." He stopped himself, but too late. The slip was so small, so telling. "Wasn't supposed to what?" I asked quietly. His jaw tightened. "You weren't supposed to see that." "Not, there's been a mistake, or let me explain. Just the truth, spoken without thinking. I wasn't supposed to know. This wasn't an error. This was a secret." I looked him in the eye. "How long have you been paying her?" He called it help. Temporary assistance, family duty. "Mom needed support after Dad died," he said, pacing the kitchen. "She was struggling. I couldn't just let her sink." "For how long?" "A while." "How long, David?" 4 years, maybe 5. 5 years of $1,200 a month, $72,000. Gone. "Why didn't you tell me?" My voice cracked on the last word. He turned on me then, defensive. "Because you would have said no, because you don't understand family obligation. Because every time I mention my mother, you find a reason to criticize." That wasn't true. But it was easier than admitting the truth. "You hid this from me. I protected her. And I protected us from fighting about it." I stared at him. "You made financial decisions without me. You used our money, my money, without my consent. It's our money. I have just as much right." "Then why did you hide it?" I asked. "If it was fine, why the secret?" He had no answer. Or he did, but wouldn't say it out loud. I realized something cold and clear. Secrecy was never an accident. It was the plan from the beginning. That night, after David went to bed angry and self-righteous, I pulled up our online banking, started going through old statements methodically, month by month, year by year, same amount, same date, the 15th of every month. $1,200 listed as transfer savings. Except we didn't have a savings account with that bank. I'd never questioned it because David handled certain bills. Because I trusted him. The transfers were hidden inside ordinary expenses. Camouflaged. A line item that looked responsible, saving for the future, but was actually bleeding us dry. It was clean, intentional, designed to avoid detection. I kept scrolling, my coffee going cold beside me. January 2019, December 2018, November 2018. Further and further back. The first transfer was March 2018, right after David's father died. Right when we'd all expected his mother to be financially stable from the inheritance and life insurance. She should have been fine. Should have been more than fine. So why was she taking $1,200 a month from us? I pulled out a calculator and started adding it all up. The total made my hands shake. $72,000. That's what we'd given her over 5 years. I sat there in the dark kitchen staring at that number. $72,000. The vacation to Italy I dreamed about, couldn't afford it. The new HVAC system we desperately needed. Delayed 2 years while we limped through summers. The retirement account I'd wanted to max out, cut back to minimum contributions because money was tight. All of it because David told me we needed to be careful. We needed to tighten our belts. We couldn't afford extras right now. While he quietly rerouted $1,200 a month to his mother. I remembered specific conversations. Specific sacrifices I'd made. Maybe next year, I'd said about the vacation. We can save up. David had nodded, looking regretful. Looking like he wanted to give me the world but couldn't. All while he was draining our account. I pulled up our refinance documents from 2019. We'd refinanced the house that year. David said it was to lower our monthly payment. Give us breathing room. I looked at the closing date, April 2019. 1 month after the transfer started, and I noticed something I'd missed before. The first transfer wasn't March 2018, it was March 2019, right after the refinance, right after we'd lowered our mortgage payment. The breathing room went straight to his mother. I remembered signing those refinance papers. David had been so excited, told me it was a smart financial move. We'd save hundreds a month. I'd trusted him, used my credit, which was better than his. My income to qualify, my signature on every page. We'd gotten the lower payment, but instead of building our life, saving for retirement, investing in our home, we'd been building hers. I pulled up the scanned documents the title company had sent. Flipped through page after page until I found the authorization forms. And there it was. My name misspelled on one of the contact forms. Marin Caldwell instead of Marin. A small mistake, easy to miss. Except I hadn't signed that form. I'd never seen it before. The signature looked like mine, but the details were wrong. My middle initial was wrong too. They'd used L when mine was M. Someone had forged my signature. Or David had signed for me, rushing through paperwork, not checking carefully. Either way, my name was on documents I'd never fully reviewed. Tied to accounts I'd never authorized. I wasn't just deceived. I was potentially liable for fraud I didn't commit. His mother called the next morning while David was at work. Her voice was calm and sweet, like we were discussing the weather. David told me about the confusion with the bank statement, she said. I wanted to reach out personally. I know this might look strange. Strange? My voice came out sharper than I intended. I understand you might be confused, but my son takes care of his family. That's the kind of man he is. You're lucky to have someone so devoted. I gripped the phone tighter. Patricia, I didn't know about the payments. Well, you know now. Still sweet, still calm, and I'm sure you understand why they're necessary. I'm on a fixed income. Your husband is simply helping me maintain my standard of living. We can't afford to send you $1,200 a month. You afforded it for 5 years, she said simply, and you'll continue to afford it. It's family responsibility, Marin, something you'll understand when you're older. I was 46, she was 72. But age wasn't the issue. Control was. I want this arrangement to stop, I said. Silence. Then her voice changed, hardened. That's not your decision to make. This is between my son and me, and this arrangement isn't changing. She hung up before I could respond. At work that afternoon, I sat in a project review meeting, barely listening. My mind kept circling back to the bank statement, to Patricia's voice, to David's defensive anger. Our finance director was presenting analysis on a vendor contract. Something about the numbers looked off. I raised my hand. Those consulting fees, can you break down the monthly costs? She pulled up a detailed spreadsheet. And there it was. Hidden inside legitimate expenses was a recurring payment to a shell company owned by the vendor's brother. A kickback scheme, buried in normal-looking invoices. Everyone thanked me for catching it, told me I had sharp eyes. I smiled and nodded. But inside I was thinking about my own finances, about how I'd missed the same pattern in my own marriage. If my life were a company budget, it wouldn't pass an audit. Someone was embezzling from me, and I'd signed off on it without knowing. That evening, I pulled my credit report. Something I should have done years ago but never felt the need. David and I had good credit. We paid our bills, we were responsible. The report loaded, and my stomach dropped for the second time in 2 days. Another inquiry, another bank I didn't recognize, another account opened in the last year. This one was smaller, a checking account. Recent activity showed monthly deposits of $300. Outgoing payments to medical providers, insurance companies, utility companies. I wasn't authorized on this account. But my social security number had been used to open it. I called the bank immediately, spoke to a fraud specialist. That account was opened 14 months ago, she said. The primary holder is Patricia Caldwell. Secondary authorization was granted using your information. I didn't authorize anything. Do you know the primary account holder? She's my mother-in-law. A pause. Ma'am, this could be financial exploitation. Even within families. Do you want to file a fraud report? I hesitated. Filing a report meant police, meant family rupture, meant David would never forgive me. But not filing meant accepting that I'd been used, that my identity and credit were tools for someone else's benefit. Let me think about it, I said. After I hung up, I looked at the beneficiary designation the bank had sent. In case of Patricia's death, the account would transfer to David Caldwell. Not me. Not us. Him. I wasn't just being deceived. I was being replaced financially, cut out of my own family's money. During my lunch break the next day, I met with a lawyer, someone I'd found through a colleague who'd gone through a difficult divorce. I laid the bank statements on her desk, the credit report, the account information. She studied everything carefully, her frown deepening with each page. Your name being attached to these accounts is a problem, she said finally. Not just emotionally, legally. If there's any financial impropriety, if she's receiving benefits she shouldn't while hiding assets, you could be implicated. I didn't know about any of this. That may not matter. Your name is on the paperwork. You're listed as authorized contact. From the outside it looks like you consented. My mouth went dry. What should I do? She leaned back in her chair, studying me. That depends. Do you want answers about what's happening, or do you want protection from what might happen? I thought about David's defensiveness, Patricia's calm certainty, the years of secrecy. Both, I said. She nodded. Then we need to establish a paper trail, document everything, protect your assets, and prepare for this to get ugly when they realize you're not playing along anymore. Family dinner that Sunday was at Patricia's house, a tradition David insisted we maintain. Every week, his mother cooked, and we gathered like one big happy family. I sat at the table pushing food around my plate while Patricia held court, telling stories and offering opinions on everything from politics to her neighbor's landscaping choices. David laughed at her jokes, agreed with her commentary, praised the meal. And Patricia looked at me across the table and said, "Some women understand that a man's first loyalty is to the woman who raised him. Some women don't understand priorities." Everyone laughed. David's sister, his brother. Even David smiled uncomfortably but didn't defend me. I set my fork down carefully. "What do you mean by that?" "Oh, nothing personal, dear. Just that modern women sometimes forget that family comes before personal comfort." "I haven't forgotten family," I said quietly. "Haven't you? You've been quite cold to David this week. He's mentioned it." I looked at my husband. He wouldn't meet my eyes. And I realized something that made everything click into place. I'd been the outsider for years. Not recently. Not since the statement arrived. For years, while I thought I was building a marriage, David and his mother had maintained their own alliance. I was just the funding source, the credit score, the income that made it all possible. That night, I quietly opened a new checking account at a different bank. One David had no access to, no connection to. The next morning I contacted HR and rerouted my direct deposit to the new account. Legal, necessary, My money going into my account. When David came home that evening, he was agitated. Did you change something with payroll? Why do you ask? The deposit didn't come through to our account. I checked and nothing's there. I looked up from my laptop. Maybe payroll messed up. You should contact them. Or you changed something. Why would I do that? His eyes narrowed. Because you're angry. Because you're trying to punish me. I closed my laptop slowly. I'm protecting myself, David. There's a difference. From what? From your own husband? From financial decisions made without my knowledge or consent. He looked like I'd slapped him. This is what she meant. You're putting yourself before family. I'm putting myself equal to family. That's what you can't handle. The argument escalated. David accused me of hiding money, of changing, of becoming someone he didn't recognize. You used to be supportive, he said. You used to understand sacrifice. I sacrificed plenty. I just didn't know I was sacrificing for your mother's comfort while we struggled. We're not struggling. We were. I was. You told me we couldn't afford things while you were sending her $1,200 a month. That's different. That's family obligation. I brought up the accounts, the forged signatures, the hidden transfers. He switched tactics, turned it around. You're trying to turn me against my mother. You've always resented her, always looked for reasons to cause problems. I didn't cause this problem, David. I discovered it. Same thing to you, isn't it? You can't stand that I love my mother, that I want to take care of her. I can't stand that you lied to me, that you used my money without asking, that you forged my name. I never forged. He stopped, realized what he'd almost admitted. I stared at him. You did, didn't you? The refinance paperwork, you signed for me. He said nothing, but his silence was answer enough. I understood then. He'd already chosen, years ago, maybe from the beginning. I was never his partner. I was his resource. While David was at work the next day, I searched his home office, looking for the folder I'd seen him put away quickly the week before, the one he didn't want me to see. I found it in the bottom drawer of his desk, labeled planning in his mother's handwriting. Inside were pages of notes, handwritten lists, future expenses, lifestyle costs, long-term care projections. Patricia had mapped out her financial needs for the next 20 years, and beside each item was a notation of how much David would contribute. New roof for her house, $15,000. David, 2025. Kitchen remodel, $30,000. Assisted living deposit, $50,000. Page after page of financial planning. All of it expecting David's money, our money, my money. At the bottom of the last page, one line stood out, written in red ink, underlined twice. Don't tell Marin. Not discuss with Marin or ask Marin. Just don't tell her. I was never meant to be part of the decision. Just the funding source, who'd be kept in the dark while they decided how to spend my earnings. I photographed every page, sent the images to my email, added them to the folder my lawyer had told me to maintain. Evidence, documentation, protection. The bank called 2 days later. A compliance review had been triggered on Patricia's account. Something about irregular deposits flagged by their monitoring system. We need confirmation from all authorized contacts, the representative said, including Marin Caldwell. Are you available to verify the account activity? My heart pounded. What kind of verification? Just confirmation that you authorize the transfers and that the account serves its stated purpose. What's the stated purpose? Papers rustled. Family assistance for medical and living expenses. Medical expenses. That's what they'd told the bank. But the planning folder showed kitchen remodels and travel budgets. I need to think about this, I said. We have a 5-day deadline for compliance. After that, we'll need to freeze the account pending investigation. I understand. After I hung up, I sat very still. This was the moment, the decision point. I could verify the account, keep the peace, let the money keep flowing, or I could tell the truth and blow up everything. The deadline was 5 days away. David started begging that evening. Not angry anymore. Desperate. The bank called me. Said they need your confirmation. Please, Marin, just sign the form. It's simple, 2 minutes. You want me to verify transfers I never authorized. You're authorized now, technically, so it's not lying. It is lying, David. The bank asked if I authorized the activity. I didn't. I won't lie to federal regulators for your mother. His mother started texting me, sweet at first, then urgent. We should talk, woman to woman. This affects my health, my stability. Don't ruin what your husband built for me." I didn't answer, turned off my phone, sat in the quiet of my car in a parking lot and just breathed. The next text came from David's sister. "Mom is really upset. Why are you being so stubborn? It's just a signature." Then his brother. "Family helps family. Don't be selfish." The pressure was coordinated, organized. They'd done this before, I realized. Circled wagons around Patricia, made anyone who questioned her the villain. I turned my phone back off. Patricia showed up at my house unannounced the next afternoon. I opened the door to find her standing there, David's truck in the driveway behind her. He'd given her a key. Let her in before I could decide whether to allow it. She stood in my living room, my home, and said, "You're going to sign the bank's form. My son promised me you would." I looked at David. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "This is between you and David," I said. "I'm not signing anything. You're his wife. You do what's needed for this family." "I'm done funding your lifestyle, Patricia." Her face hardened. "Funding my lifestyle? I'm surviving. I'm a widow on a fixed income. My son is being a good man, something you clearly don't appreciate. He's being a good son with my money, without my permission. It's not your money, it's family money, community property. He has every right. He has no right to forge my signature, to hide accounts, to use my credit without consent." David finally spoke. "Mom, let me handle this." Patricia turned to him, her voice sharp. "Tell her who comes first, David. Tell her right now, me or her." I watched my husband's face, watched him struggle, and I knew. Before he opened his mouth, I knew his answer. David told his mother to give him time. Let him talk to me, work it out. Patricia smiled like she'd already won. "Fine, but this gets resolved, today." After she left, David tried to position it as progress. "See, she's being reasonable. She just needs to know you're on board." "I'm not on board. Marin, please, let me fix this. If you cooperate, sign the form, we can move past all this. I'll be more transparent. I'll include you in decisions. Just help me now." He looked exhausted, defeated, almost sympathetic. For a moment I wavered, wondered if I was being too harsh, if I could compromise. Then the bank called the next morning. Not David's phone. Mine. The compliance officer wanted to speak with me directly. Privately. "Mrs. Caldwell, we've completed our preliminary review. We have concerns about the account's activity. Can you confirm you authorized use of your social security number and credit profile for this account?" "No," I said. "I didn't authorize anything. Thank you for your honesty. We'll proceed with our investigation." Within an hour, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. The account was officially frozen. All pending transfers halted. Full audit escalated to their fraud division. I told the compliance officer I'd never consented to having my information used, that I'd discovered the account by accident, that I wanted to cooperate fully with their investigation. My voice didn't shake. My hands were steady. I was done protecting people who'd never protected me. Patricia called first. Not crying, not begging, screaming, "You froze my account, my bill payments, my prescriptions. What kind of monster are you?" I told the truth. I didn't authorize the account. "You're gonna fix this, right now, call them back." "No." She hung up and called David, who called me, who begged, pleaded, threatened. Then the family text started. "David's sister, this is cruel." His brother, "You're destroying an elderly woman's security." His aunt, "Be reasonable, think about family." All of them demanding I reverse course, fix what I'd broken, save Patricia from consequences. My husband sent one final text. "She's not handling this well. This is on you." I packed a bag and left. I stayed at a hotel that night, ignored the calls and texts that flooded my phone, ordered room service, and watched mindless television, and tried not to think about the explosion I'd set off. But I couldn't stop thinking about Patricia's tone shift, from sweet to crying to begging to vicious, all within hours, all trying to find the lever that would move me. And the family members messaging me to be reasonable. None of them asking what had happened to me. None of them questioning why I hadn't known about the accounts. None of them caring that I'd been used. They just wanted me to fall back in line, to cooperate, to be the good wife who didn't make waves. My lawyer called. The bank contacted me, asked for supporting documentation. I sent them everything. The statements you didn't know about, the credit report showing accounts opened without your knowledge, the timeline showing when you discovered this. What happens now? They investigate. Potentially report to authorities if they find fraud. Your cooperation protects you. Their attempts to pressure you only make their case worse. I thought about that. About how every angry text, every demanding call, every attempt to manipulate me was creating evidence. They were destroying themselves by refusing to accept my no. The final document arrived by courier 3 days later. A temporary restoration form. One signature from me would restore Patricia's account access for 30 days while the investigation continued. David was waiting when I got home. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Please," he said, holding the form. "Just this, just 30 days. Give her time to set up other accounts, to transfer her bills. Don't leave her with nothing. She has Social Security. She has the life insurance from your father. She's not destitute. But the freeze is affecting her credit, her standing with vendors, her dignity." I looked at him. Did she care about my dignity when she forged my signature? When she used my credit without asking? When she planned to spend my money for the next 20 years without telling me? He had no answer. "David, if you sign it, that's your choice. But I won't." "You're really going to do this? Destroy my mother over money?" "I'm protecting myself from fraud. That's all I'm doing." He set the form down, his hands shaking. "Is there anything I can say? Anything that would change your mind?" I looked at the man I'd been married to for 18 years. The man who'd chosen his mother over me, over us, over basic honesty. "I'll think about it," I lied. I didn't think about it. I'd already decided. The next morning, I sent a formal letter to the bank declining to verify or restore the account. Stated clearly that I had never authorized use of my information and wanted the account permanently closed. The bank's fraud division closed the investigation 2 weeks later. Found sufficient evidence of unauthorized use of my identity. Closed the account permanently. The money already transferred was gone. Patricia's access was finished. David received notice the same day I did. He called, his voice hollow. "It's done. The account is closed. Mom is furious. The family is furious. Everyone thinks you're vindictive." "I'm not vindictive. I'm just done being used." A long pause, then quietly, "Is it too late for us?" I thought about the question, about the years of lies, the forged signatures, the secret planning folder, the family that chose Patricia's comfort over my dignity. "You chose her over me, David. Every time, every decision. That's not something I can forgive right now. Maybe not ever. I was trying to honor my father, to take care of her like he would have wanted. You were supposed to honor our marriage too. You didn't." He had nothing left to say. I filed for separation in March. Not divorce yet. But separation, legal protection, financial independence. My credit score rebounded within months once the fraudulent accounts were removed. My lawyer helped me document everything, ensuring I wasn't liable for any debts Patricia had tried to attach to my name. At work, I received a promotion, Director of Financial Analysis. More responsibility, better pay, recognition for the sharp eye that had saved the company money. I stopped apologizing for having boundaries. Stopped explaining why I wouldn't be manipulated. Stopped answering calls from David's family members who wanted to tell me how cruel I was being. I bought a small condo, modern, clean, mine. And one Saturday afternoon, I drove past our old house, the one David still lived in, without slowing down. Didn't feel sadness, didn't feel anger, just felt free. I keep the bank statement in a file folder in my home office, not as evidence anymore. The legal matters are settled. The accounts are closed, the marriage is ending. I keep it as a reminder. My husband paid his mother in secret for years. $72,000 of my money, given without my knowledge, using my credit, forging my signature, planning to continue for decades. The bank mistakenly sent me the statement. One administrative error, one opened envelope, and the truth came spilling out. I didn't take revenge, didn't destroy anyone, didn't even tell the extended family what really happened. I just told the truth to the people who asked, protected myself from fraud, refused to keep funding a lie, and I took my life back. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if that envelope had stayed sealed. If the bank had sent it to the right address, if I'd never known, I'd probably still be clipping coupons while David quietly drained our accounts, still be planning vacations we'd never take, still be sacrificing while Patricia planned her kitchen remodel with my money. But the envelope opened. The truth came out. and I decided I was worth more than being someone's secret ATM. The life I have now isn't perfect. It's smaller, quieter, lonelier sometimes, but it's honest and it's mine. And that's worth more than any amount of false peace.